Ever walk into a room and just know something's off before anyone even speaks? If emotions were a superpower, yours would be psychic-level intuition with a side of instant attachment. You don't just feel, you absorb, store, and replay emotions like a greatest hits album. Welcome to the AstroDecode Podcast, where we decode your moon sign with a mix of cosmic wisdom and brutal honesty. Cancer moons are the nurturers of the zodiac. They're empathetic, intuitive, and have a deeply protective nature. Imagine a heart so big that it could probably wrap around the entire world in one hug. Their emotional landscape is influenced by a strong connection to family, home, and deep emotional bonds. They value security, especially in relationships, and have an innate need to create safe spaces for themselves and their loved ones. However, their caring nature often leads them to put the needs of others before their own, sometimes to their own emotional detriment. Cancer moons experience their emotions with the depth of the ocean. When they feel everything. And when they're hurt, it's not just a scratch. It's a deep wound that might take a while to heal. They process emotions through their intuition and often rely on their gut feelings to guide them through emotional situations. They may not always have the words to express what's going on, but their actions often speak louder than words. If you're ever in need of comfort or support, Cancer moons are the first to show up with a warm meal, a listening ear, or a heartfelt gesture. However, their emotional nature can sometimes make them overly sensitive. They might take things personally, and their feelings can get hurt more easily than they let on. The challenge for Cancer moons is learning to protect themselves from emotional overwhelm and not to absorb the energy of others too much. In relationships, Cancer moons are loyal, devoted, and incredibly protective. They want to care for and nurture their partners, but sometimes they take on the emotional weight of the relationship too much. Their partner's emotions become their own, and they may find themselves absorbing all of the emotional tension, leaving them feeling emotionally drained. They can also be a little clingy or overly attached at times. Cancer moons have a deep fear of being abandoned or rejected, which may manifest in a need for constant reassurance from their loved ones. They can be defensive when they feel threatened, and sometimes their emotional mood swings can cause friction in relationships. However, when Cancer moons are in healthy relationships, they are incredibly devoted, offering support, loyalty, and love without hesitation. They just need to remember that it's okay to ask for the same in return. The biggest struggle for Cancer moons is emotional overwhelm. They tend to take everything to heart, and their emotions can sometimes feel like an emotional roller coaster. This makes them incredibly susceptible to mood swings and emotional sensitivity. Their need for security can also lead them to cling to people, places, or situations that no longer serve them, just to avoid feeling emotionally vulnerable. Cancer moons often struggle with finding the balance between caring for others and caring for themselves. They may give so much of their emotional energy away that they forget to nurture their own hearts. For Cancer moons to grow, they need to set emotional boundaries. They can't pour from an empty cup, so they need to learn to protect their own emotional energy. By developing a healthier sense of emotional independence, Cancer moons can create space for their own feelings without losing themselves in the emotional needs of others. They must also understand that vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. It's okay to lean on others for support, just as they've always been there for others. Trusting that their emotional world won't fall apart if they open up to others is key to their emotional evolution. Ultimately, Cancer moons must learn that their worth isn't just in their ability to nurture, but also in their own emotional well-being. Cancer moons are the emotional caregivers of the zodiac, offering unconditional love and support to those they hold dear. But just like a caregiver, they need to remember to care for themselves first. By setting healthy boundaries, embracing their vulnerability, and learning to nurture their own emotions, they can experience deeper emotional fulfillment and healthier relationships. Thanks for listening to the AstroDecode Podcast. If this episode resonated with you, give yourself a hug and maybe a nap, as a reminder that you're worthy of love, care, and emotional support. See you in the next episode.